You know those little thermometers they have now where you just swipe it across your forehead and it beeps? That's it. No shaking it down, or no holding it under your tongue for 20 minutes while you breathe dramatically through your nose. Just swipe, beep, done. And you have a number. You have information at your disposal. You know exactly what you're working with. Somehow, after a date, one of the more consequential things you'll do in your dating life, most people walk to their car or drive home, walk home, take their Uber, whatever. They just let it marinate. No check in at all. No read. Just vibes, whatever their best friend says when they text. So, how was it? With two question marks. Taking your temperature after a date is a little different than holding a thermometer under your armpit. The information is there. You just need to know what to ask yourself. So today we're going to talk about 13 temperature checks that you might be skipping over. Yes, I said 13. That sounds at all interesting. I hope you'll stick around because that's what's on the agenda.
Here's some real advice for your dating life. Coffee with Carey. Coffee with Carey.
I've been thinking about this thermometer thing, and I feel like I could do an entire episode on how genuinely exciting it was when a thermometer would break in 1972. You'd be sick and miserable, and suddenly the best thing that ever happened to you was a pile of mercury on the kitchen table. You'd pull up a chair and you'd press your face down right next to it and just, start poking it. One little ball would split into 12. 12 would chase after each other around the table, and then you'd coax them all back together into one big, satisfying, toxic blob, like you'd, just won something. And nobody stopped you. It was a different time, let's just say. All right, back to your date. The first thing to ask yourself is whether this date made you feel energized, or did it suck the life right out of you? Because there's a version of tired where you float to your car, replaying the good parts, and there's a version of tired where you spent the whole date watching the clock and just hoping you'd hit an hour and a half quickly so you could leave with a clear conscience. Energy doesn't lie. You can talk yourself into a lot of things, potential, off nights, perfectly nice, but your energy already scored the date before your brain had a chance to negotiate, and that's worth paying attention to. I used to flip right past the puzzles and poems trying to get to the middle of the magazine where Goofus and Gallant lived. What an exciting day of the month when highlights arrived at my house in the late 1960s, early 70s. Gallant wiped his feet at the door. He said hello to your parents. He used a napkin. Goofus stomped in with muddy shoes, walked right past your mom like she was a lamp, and had his hand in the chipbowl before his coat was off. I still think about those two. Goofus is absolutely on a date somewhere bossing around the waitstaff. Gallant is at home helping his wife unload the dishwasher. I spent 13 years as a matchmaker watching people be Goofus about dating, watching smart, fantastic people spin in their wheels and stuck in bad habits that keep them single for decades. That's why I created Be Your Own Matchmaker, because nobody needs me to find them a match. They just need to know what I know. Honestly, modern dating is a lot like those old highlights magazines. It's a mess of jokes, riddles, and morality tales, and a whole bunch of people trying to figure out what's wrong with this picture. My Masterclass is the answer key. Having me give you an actual game plan allows you to be a lot more gallant in this life. The link's in the description box below. And now, let's get back to the episode. I'm not saying that you should go home and Google everything they mentioned, but sitting across from them, did their life interest you? Did something they say make you want to know more? Did you catch yourself holding back a follow-up question because you didn't want it to feel like an interrogation, even though you genuinely wanted to know the answer? Because curiosity, or the absence of it, is one of your temperature checks. Maybe when they told a story, you found yourself counting how many unnecessary pieces of data they could pack into what should have been a really fun story about their trip to Prague. You are nodding and smiling, and somewhere around a minute 4, you realize that you'd been watching the condensation slide down your water glass just for something to do. Did you laugh? Did you actually laugh during this date? Not the polite version, not that thing you do when somebody says something that lands a little flat, but you smile anyway because you're a decent human being. I mean, actually laughed. The kind that, comes out before you've decided whether or not you want to let it happen. Because when you laugh with someone, it means something clicked. Your sense of humor found its people, and that's not nothing. That's actually one of the harder things to fake and one of the easier things to feel. If it was there, you know it was there. And if the whole night was perfectly pleasant and perfectly forgettable and nobody laughed at anything, then that's a temperature reading too. You put in a lot of effort to make yourself look presentable and attractive to meet somebody new. You did the thing, and then you sit across from someone, and somewhere in the middle of the date, you realize that you've been quietly editing yourself, pulling back a little, second guessing. Well, not because anything went wrong, but because something about this particular person makes you feel like you're just slightly missing the mark. That's worth noticing, because there are also people who make you feel like the most interesting version of yourself showed up tonight, and you didn't even try that hard. Did this person make you feel attractive? Because there's a real difference between those two dates. You know that feeling when you're leaving a party and you're still just kind of buzzing? Not from the drinks, just from being around people who get you. You're in the car and you're already calling somebody. Wait till you hear how funny I was tonight. Some dates leave you standing in front of the bathroom mirror, loosening your tie or taking off your earrings, just kind of looking at yourself and thinking, yeah. You can't even explain it. Nothing went wrong, but something about the way the night went has you feeling like you left a little bit of yourself on the table in there. That's way better than feeling like you're maybe just good enough. Think about the last time you had dinner with someone that you really click with. Nobody's trying, nobody's steering. Something gets said, something else gets said, somebody laughs, the food gets cold because you forgot it was there. That's what a good conversation feels like. And then there's the date where you showed up, ordered your drink, and spent the next 90 minutes essentially hosting your own talk show with a guest who forgot to prepare. You asked the questions, you filled the silences, you laughed first so they'd know it was okay to laugh. You went home having learned that they went to Arizona State and they have a dog named Biscuit, and that is really about all you got out of it. That's not a connection. That's a podcast you didn't sign up to produce. This one sounds obvious, but people talk themselves out of it all the time. There's the date where 2.5 hours disappear, and you're genuinely surprised when you walk out into the night air, or it's suddenly dark when it was light. And then there's the date that feels like time is standing still, and you're casually scanning the room for a clock on the wall or a timestamp on a TV screen, anything that tells you where you are without making it obvious that you're looking. Time is honest in a way that we aren't always willing to be. You can convince yourself you had a good time. You can't really convince yourself that 2 hours felt like 20 minutes when it didn't. That's your body keeping score, whether you asked it to or not. Were you yourself on this date, or were you a carefully managed version of yourself? Because there's a difference between putting your best foot forward and spending the entire evening deciding which parts of you were safe to show. Did you say what you actually thought, or did you soften it up just a little bit? Did you laugh at something you didn't find really funny? Did you hold back an opinion maybe because you didn't want to rock the boat before the boat even left the dock? Some editing is just, first date nerves, and that's normal. But if you spent the whole night feeling like you were one wrong sentence away from blowing it, that's worth sitting with, because the right person doesn't make you feel like yourself is a liability. Ask yourself whether you could picture introducing this person to someone you actually care about. Not moving in together, not a holiday. Just could you imagine saying, hey, this is so and so to one friend without any part of you cringing or over explaining or getting ahead of it with, I know, just give them a chance. Because that little internal pre apology is information. The people we're genuinely excited about, we lead with. We want to show them off a little bit, not because we need approval, just because we're proud. And the ones we're not sure about, we keep them in a separate compartment and call it privacy. But usually we know exactly what it is. Did this person cross your mind after the date was over? Not obsessively, not did you spend the next 3 days over analyzing every sentence they said. No, just did they drift in naturally? Did something happen later that night or the next day and you thought, oh, I'd tell so-and-so about that? That's the quieter version of a really good sign. Not fireworks, a natural drift towards someone. Like your brain filed them under people worth thinking about without being asked to. Sometimes you leave a date and something feels off and you can't quite name it. Nothing went wrong and they were perfectly nice, but you feel just slightly smaller than when you walked in. A little less funny, a little less confident. Like somewhere in the conversation, something landed that you didn't fully register, but your body absolutely did. That could be negging. And it doesn't always look like an insult. Sometimes it's a joke at your expense that came with a smile even. Sometimes it's a comment about something you're wearing or something you said that was just, 1 degree off from a compliment. You laughed it off in the moment, but it's still sitting there somewhere. People who nag aren't always doing it on purpose even. Sometimes they're just insecure and it comes out sideways. But it doesn't matter whether it was intentional. What matters is how you felt walking away. And if you felt like you needed to earn something that you walked in already having, that's your temperature telling you something worth listening to. This is number 12 already. Your brain is a really good lawyer. It'll argue both sides, find the loopholes, and talk you into or out of almost anything if you give it enough time. Your body doesn't do that. Your body just tells you the truth and waits for you to catch up. Did your shoulders drop when they walked in, or did something in you go on to high alert? Did you lean in during the conversation or find yourself slightly back the whole night long? Did you feel relaxed or did you feel like you were managing something? These aren't dramatic signals, they're quiet ones, but they've been keeping score the entire time you were busy trying to figure out if they were relationship material. Your body had an opinion before you finished your first drink. The question is whether you are willing to listen to it. You went on the date, you got dressed, you showed up, you made conversation with a stranger for an hour and 48 minutes, and you did not check your phone once. That's not nothing. But the date doesn't end when you walk out of the door. The most useful part, the part where you actually learn something, happens after. When it's quiet and when nobody's watching, when you finally ask yourself how that actually went. Not your best friend, not the group chat that's been waiting on a full recap since you left the house. You, just you and 13 honest questions and whatever your gut already knows. All right, I hope you found that interesting or helpful. If you did, you might want to check out this episode here. YouTube thinks you'll like it. And hey, before you go, could you please give my little mama here the thumbs up she's requesting? She asked me if people who take the Masterclass have to do homework. I said, yeah, kind of. And she said, oh, good. She always knew I'd make a good teacher. I've been bossy since I was 4. Appreciate you hanging out with me today. And until next time, have a good one.